What if I told you this episode doesn't just take off the gloves, it straight up burns the rulebook? Because Daredevil Born Again just gave us an episode where Bullseye becomes judge, jury, and executioner, Kingpin steps back into the ring, and Daredevil makes a choice that might haunt him for the rest of the season. And by the end of the episode, one character's fate is going to unleash a version of Kingpin we've never seen before.
This is the way. This is the way.
Welcome to Fatherly Fan. I'm your host, Chris, and if you love Marvel breakdowns, deep dives, and all things nerdy, you're in the right place. And if you enjoy content like this and want breakdowns every week, hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow. Now let's get into it, because episode 4, Gloves Off, yeah, they meant that literally. Alright, chapter 1, Bullseye Unleashed. We open on Benjamin Po Dexter, aka Bullseye, and right away, something feels off. Calm morning routine, quiet apartment, a neighbor who knows him as Tony? Yeah, nothing suspicious there. Then he heads to the Bel Air diner, orders a banana milkshake, but then things escalate. He calls in a fake tip, says Frank Castle's in the diner. Sirens, chaos, tension building, and Dex just sitting there. And what happens next is one of the most insane sequences we've seen in the MCU. Bullseye doesn't just fight, he weaponizes everything. Plates, glass, silverware, even lobster. Hope that guy didn't have a shellfish allergy. But seriously, this scene shows exactly why Bullseye is terrifying. Nothing is random, everything is calculated. And in seconds, it's over. Then he looks at the survivors and says, I'm one of the good guys. Let me ask you this right now. Would you rather have Daredevil protecting your city or someone like Bullseye ending the problem permanently? Because that question, that's the core of this entire episode. Chapter 2, The Devil's Alliance. Meanwhile, Murdock is trying to build something bigger. He approaches Swordsman, but gets turned down. Not because he doesn't believe in the mission, because Daredevil isn't just a man anymore. He's a symbol. Very similar to heroes like Spider-Man. Hope, responsibility, legacy. And speaking of responsibility, Angela Del Toro steps up as the new White Tiger. And Matt asks her, do you understand the responsibility? That line matters, because this episode is all about how far is too far. Chapter 3, Kingpin's Chessboard. Now this is where it gets interesting. Wilson Fisk is making moves. His charity fight at Fogwell's gym? Not charity, a trap. But here's the deep layer. Vanessa Fisk. Because throughout this episode, we see something very clear. She's not just his partner. She's an anchor. The only one who could rein in Kingpin. The closest thing he has to a moral code. Even though Vanessa's morals are questionable at best. We literally see her trying to manage the balance with the governor, trying to control the chaos without breaking loyalty. She truly believes she can keep him in check. And for a while, she does. But the real question is, what happens when the anchor is gone? Chapter 4, Truth Erased. Karen and the team finally get what they need. Proof. The Northern Star, illegal weapons, Fisk's direct involvement. This should be it. Game over. But the real twist? Fisk doesn't lose. Because while they're building a case, he's erasing it. So of course Buck intercepts Christoffy. No witness, no trial. Just like that. The truth once again disappears. And trust me, you're gonna want to stick around, because the final act of this episode completely changes everything we thought we knew about Kingpin. Chapter 5, Daredevil versus Bullseye. We once again return to Clinton Church. Mac tracks down Bullseye, and then bam, they clash. But this isn't just a fight, it's a debate. Bullseye wants to atone for Foggy's death by killing Fisk, becoming something closer to the Punisher. And Daredevil, he refuses, because once you cross that line, there's no coming back. But here's where it gets crazy. For a moment, you actually understand Bullseye, maybe even agree with him. And that's what makes this episode so strong. Chapter 6, the main event. Fisk enters the ring, literally dominates, but outside, chaos. Bullseye crashes the fight, taking down the ABTF like they're nothing. Bodies dropping, panic everywhere. He locks onto Vanessa, throws, but most of it gets deflected by Fisk, and she shoots Bullseye. Did not see that coming, but then he lands the hit. Vanessa goes down, everything stops. Chapter 7, The Kingpin Unleashed. And this changes everything. Because Vanessa wasn't just important, she was the only thing holding Wilson Fisk back. His balance, his restraint, his humanity. The only person who could actually reach him, and now she's gone. Which means there's nothing left to stop Kingpin. No control, no limits, no mercy. Now the gloves are truly off. Not just in the ring, but in the war for New York. Alright, here's my hot takes and rating. I'm giving this episode a solid 9 out of 10. Because it's absolutely nails the duality of clashing ideology. On one side, Daredevil holding the line, protecting the city without losing himself. On the other, you have Bullseye trying to atone for Foggy's death by killing more people, becoming something closer to Frank Castle. And somehow, the show makes you question everything. Because Bullseye isn't just a villain here, he's a layered anti-hero. And there are moments when you might actually side with him over Daredevil, which leads to the big question: who's fighting Kingpin the right way? All right, here's some of my final thoughts and prediction. This episode didn't just raise the stakes, it redefined the battlefield. Vanessa's fate changes everything. Fisk is about to become unstoppable. Bullseye isn't done, and Daredevil, he's caught in the middle of it all. And remember, the title wasn't just about the fight, it was about Fisk losing the one thing holding him back. So now I want to hear from you. Was Bullseye right? Did Daredevil make the wrong call? And what happens now that Kingpin has nothing left restraining him? And if Kingpin really is unleashed, episode 5 might not just raise the stakes, it might break the board entirely. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and as always, stay nerdy, my friends. I'll see you next time.